Let's just talk heart to heart. Whatever is on your mind, everyone. Go ahead and ask, and if I happen to not have an answer, please forgive me. There are many questions that are quite profound, so I'll just do my best, that's all. Yes, alright, Namo Amitabha Buddha. Respected teacher, I would like to speak. We are fortunate in this life to follow you in learning and practicing the method of supportive chanting, but due to our limited wisdom, we have recently realized many oversights in our process of learning and practice. To save time, I would like to ask your permission to have the members of the group present the difficulties and obstacles for you to help us resolve them. Namo Amitabha Buddha. Adjust the lights to be cool. The lights are too bright, too bright.
It's too bright over there. To save time, whenever the members have difficulties while going to support chanting, just present them to the teacher so he can share his insights with us.
Alright, go ahead.
Namo Amitabha Buddha. Respected teachers and nuns, we are truly fortunate to have encountered the supportive chanting method and the Buddha's teachings. Especially recently, we have participated in supportive chanting, but during the process, we still have many concerns, and even many mistakes and oversights that we were previously unaware of, so we assumed we were doing it right, but some things were not quite correct. Since today is a very special opportunity for us, I would like to represent the group to respectfully ask the teacher for your compassion and guidance. Regarding accepting supportive chanting cases, we have often accepted cases where people are still healthy.
Yes, they are not yet truly weak, but their families earnestly invite us, and the individuals themselves are also practitioners. We are unsure if accepting such cases is appropriate. We hope the teacher can guide us on this. By healthy, how old are they? How old are they? They can still be 50 or 60, meaning they can still walk. They're still able. They can still join us in mindful support. Yes, indeed. I ask the assembly to grant them also. When someone is still that healthy, it's best to invite them to participate in those mindful support sessions. Because in those sessions, while we are providing support for them, they are also participating, which is like practicing support for others to gain experience. For example, if someone is quite healthy, then during group practice sessions at the temple, we should invite them to join. When they participate in such sessions, hearing discussions or sharing about mindful support is, in fact, providing support for them. We call it mindful support, but it's really about hoping they learn it, and over time, these methods will naturally soak into them. It wouldn't be very reasonable to go and sit by someone who is still healthy and hold their hand to provide support. Moreover, regarding support, suppose we have 20 people in need of support, we could divide them into groups. For instance, today I support person A. I focus on person A, but I also know the other 19 people. During our sessions, we understand each person's specific issues, so while resolving person A's concerns, we might also address others' issues at the same time. No matter what, remember that mindful support is a heart-to-heart talk to help untangle that person's worries. It shouldn't be practiced as if you sit there and I sit here, and lecturing from a podium, as that doesn't suit the spirit of mindful support. What is mindful support, really? It is for the elderly who do not have. Those who come to join group practice are already very ill, for example, suffering from late-stage cancer, so these individuals know that their time remaining in this world is no longer long, right? But if they sit and listen for too long and can't bear it, perhaps they could listen for 10 minutes, and if they get too tired, we can let them lie down to rest, right? During that rest, if we hold their hand to support their mindfulness, that would be the right way to do it. For instance, the other day the group said they invited me to perform mindfulness support for 10 people. Actually, inviting Tin Hai to talk about mindfulness support is fine, but performing it like that is just like giving a presentation, which is only theoretical and not practical. So, for those who are still healthy, when we invite them for mindfulness support, we should first give them materials to study. Then, for example, when we have frequent cases, especially regarding mindfulness support, usually, we go to learn about mindfulness support. For example, are you attending the classes, teacher? You've been studying for years now. Is it daily or weekly, teacher? Yes, daily. Daily, every day we let them study, learn about mindfulness support, then analyze and share with each other. Meaning, today this person shares, tomorrow another person shares, or in one session we ask 3 or 5 people to come up and share their insights, their thoughts, and the things they think they have learned. Inadvertently, during those sharing moments, the meaning sinks in. That assimilation happens naturally, so they learn it sooner or later. And when the time comes that they are ill, we only need to speak briefly and they can easily accept it. For those who have never learned about supportive chanting, when they reach their final moments and are lying there, what we tell them sounds completely foreign, and often we don't have enough time to resolve their lingering knots and difficulties. When you have studied supportive chanting, you realize that the learning process itself involves aspects of that support, right? People gradually let go of their attachments, and that is what we call the practice of support. So, learn to practice. Practice letting go of your heart first, rather than waiting until the very end to seek supportive karma. Therefore, for those who are healthy, please feel free to join the supportive chanting group. Even if you have constraints and cannot participate fully, attending part-time is also acceptable. It is through those sessions that people gradually find relief, so when the time finally comes to support them, it is very effective. Many people don't know this, so if you wait until the end and suddenly arrive, what you say might seem like it fell from the sky, because the world has many different customs, traditions, beliefs, and various other dharma paths. For example, if someone is praying for recovery, and we tell them during supportive chanting not to pray for health, because praying to be cured prevents them from achieving rebirth, it is as strange as that. There are many such subtle points. But in reality, if praying for health could cure everyone, then everyone would have already been cured. It is not like that. All illnesses are determined by one's own karma. We accept this karma, especially when we are sincere and respectful in chanting the Buddha's name and praying for blessings. The sutras often say that the Buddhas are supporting us, even if we are unaware. For instance, I have seen many people, even nuns, suffering from cancer. In the final stages, if they pray solely to be cured, they end up writhing on their beds in agony. There are cancer cases that I have encountered where people could never fold their hands like this. Do you know why? From here down to here, everyone, you could count every single rib, they were clearly protruding. And when you looked, you could see their heart beating, fluttering, fluttering, fluttering like that, everyone.
It shouldn't be like that, you know. Now that she is determined to chant the Buddha's name, and the old person is also determined to chant, aren't you happy? Aren't you glad? I'm saying it's just natural. If they were in pain, there is no way they could do that. And it's not because of painkillers or anything like that. We see that the Buddha's power is inconceivable. It really is inconceivable. That's why I told the nun earlier that she is family, and I only use her as an example now, but there are many others.
Yes. It seems that I and the Venerable were also sitting right there by her side. At that moment, we didn't do anything. She was determined to chant. She was determined to chant. She just kept on chanting. Down there, during that time, I was sitting here, she was sitting there, and I just kept clapping, clapping in praise, not knowing what else to do. But when lifting the stomach, it was swollen up big like this, and when you touched it, it was tight, like it was bulging out, hard as if there were stones inside. If you think about it, in a normal state, how could she bear to sit like that? Cancer is the type of illness people fear most because it is agonizingly painful at the end. But with the Buddha's power sustaining her, she felt absolutely no pain. And it wasn't just one person. Several people in her family were like that. Even my own father, who also had cancer, didn't moan in pain. If you didn't look at the tumor, how would you even know? That goes to show that at that time, even if he wanted to stand, he couldn't, he often had to lie there. But somehow he remained peaceful until his very last moment. And at that time, his own child sat beside him and said, "Father, you are about to pass away. Do you know that?" And he simply nodded. It was profound. Therefore, inviting people for support chanting is not about inviting healthy people, and there's no reason for healthy people to make us support them, while logically, the healthy person should be the one supporting the weak. So, invite them to join the support chanting group. Invite them to attend support chanting sessions, so that eventually, if they fall ill and are bedridden and can no longer move, that is when we go to support chant for them. Inviting them to participate in this support chanting study program is what is truly correct. That is the right way to do it. Respectfully, Master, may I ask further about why people are so insistent on being invited so early? It is because there are cases where people know how to recite the Buddha's name, practice, and pray for rebirth, but they are always worried that if impermanent death arrives suddenly before they have been invited, then even if they participate in retreats, if they haven't invited the support chanting group, the group won't come to support them when that unexpected event occurs. I understand. I will answer it directly. Since you never know when impermanence will strike, please learn about support chanting early. Yes, learning about support chanting means you are chanting for yourself, right? Yes, knowing about support chanting means you are supporting yourself. What does it mean to support chant? It means abandoning what is wrong and holding on to what is right. When we learn about support chanting, in the discussion sessions, we address the taboos and the things we should not do. We have already laid them out. By speaking of them, they become aware. They let go of what needs to be abandoned, which is essentially supporting themselves, isn't it? Whatever can be done, they have already recited on your behalf. But at the very final moments, if they often forget or are in pain, what then? That is when we need supportive companions to come by and remind them. Otherwise, for instance, we cannot force you while you are healthy to go house to support others. Because here, there are hundreds of cases at once. If you were to go like that, how could you possibly handle it? So when we call on people to learn supportive chanting, you learning it means you are practicing the path of support. To practice is to cultivate yourself in this way. For example, supportive chanting requires avoiding the 5 pungent spices. If you are currently using them, you must slowly give up those habits. It may be good, but if you do not give them up, the Dharma protectors cannot bless you. Because that is their law, which the Avatamsaka Sutra clearly states. Those who consume the 5 pungent spices, even if they are intelligent and can explain the entire Buddhist canon, the Dharma protectors will say it is impure and refuse to come to bless you. So, as ordinary people, if we lack their blessings, how can we overcome the burdens of karma or the traps of karmic creditors, right? So, in that way, when people learn, they are already supporting others, aren't they? And during such discussions, for instance, when I hear this teaching and find it resonates with me, I speak it out, and that expression sinks into the heart and naturally opens one's mind. Now, what is formal supportive chanting? No matter how much we study, we are still prone to oversight, aren't we, ma'am? We ordinary people have many oversights, unfortunately.
Yes.
Right? Yes. For example, we might say, I am not afraid of illness now, but when the illness becomes severe, or the husband is sick and the wife laments, one often becomes afraid too. We say that now, but when illness strikes, it's not certain, right? It is clear like that. Now, I say I'm not afraid of death, but when the sickness sets in, I secretly fear death. Embarrassed, ashamed to speak it out loud. That is the truth. There are people who have practiced chanting for a long time, but when they fall ill, I once met one standing in the hallway, hands pressed together, murmuring and weeping with tears streaming down. I asked, why? They secretly thought, Amitabha Buddha, I have practiced so diligently, determined to be reborn in the Pure Land. So why, after decades of chanting, am I still suffering like this? Amitabha Buddha, I say to you, if Buddhist followers are like this, what can we say about the Dharma masters? Yes. They also have such obstacles, so we must admit we are ordinary beings and understand that we must rely on others who are clear-headed to come and help us. Remember that, okay? Actually, supportive chanting is very simple. There is nothing complicated or profound about it. It is truly simple. For example, let me give you a simple point. A person once said, "Please, don't call that person to come and do supportive chanting for me." We might see this as a simple matter. It seems completely normal, doesn't it? But for anyone holding such a thought, we can clearly see they are facing a difficult situation, right? Because we want to be reborn in the Western Pure Land, but if we still hold even the smallest grudge from the past in our hearts, how can we align with the heart of great compassion and great letting go, like the great bodhisattvas? How can one harmonize with them, do you see? And if we say, "Sir, Auntie, you don't like this person, so don't let them help," it becomes very difficult, doesn't it? Isn't it? It's really hard to talk about. But suppose you beg that person not to go, who can guarantee that the resentful spirits will have mercy on you? Right, everyone? Who can choose for the resentful spirits to leave, right? Do you see? They disguise themselves as that person, and once you see them and get angry, they reveal themselves and start cursing. So you ask how one can be reborn in the Pure Land? It is that simple. It is very simple, not difficult at all. That is why I, Tin Hai, always advise us to try to practice, to be a gentle person, not holding on to anger, to practice being gentle in our Dharma. For instance, if someone curses you, even a little, just forgive them, knowing that we might have cursed others in the past, so it eases things. It's just that simple, nothing more to it. May we all vow, I hope to advise those people to sincerely confess. Those who sincerely confess are easily reborn. Truly. Yes, no.